Yes, I made that yesterday. I'm not quite sure if I should put casters in with everyone else. Oh, Alias is so bad, dude. Her moves are really bad. And like, the spear throw is terrible. And her kicks or whatever, they get low profiled. The nice thing of Gray is that his super is good, well, decent, and he has a lot of hits. And he's really tanky. It's not about, like, the supers don't really matter. So the way this game works is that the more supers you do, the more damage the next one does. So if the Purify Weird Souls, you just use your strong ones last, and the ones before it, all they need is just hits. So you use Grace first, because it doesn't do a lot of hits, gets you to 100, then you use Lennox, then you use Arngrims, then you use your Mage. Your Mage hits everyone for like 200% extra damage, and then everyone just dies. I think Alia is really bad. There's a reason why in this challenge, he told me to use Alia over Gray. Because Gray is, see, we have 0 right now, so we have to give up an item. I don't need Bark. Normally I don't give a Bark. But I don't. Oh, we can't use Transmutation. Or we can't use the Creation Jewel, so it doesn't actually do anything. It's not less damage. The first Purify Weird Soul does 100%, just regular damage, and then each one following it does 25% more, or maybe 50. I think it's 25 though. Right, where is this going? So you always want to use your mage last, or use your mage when she's about to kill. Alias is okay. The damage is not super impressive, and she does no hits. It's not really about that anyways. I'm more concerned about, because of the scaling system, and if you have a mage in your party, your mage will always be your best, and everyone else, all they do is just ramp up to your mage. Because I think every boss, almost every single boss has a weakness to Holy, and you just put Mystic Cross on your mage, use whatever supers you want, as long as they all link into each other, and then use your mage, and she'll kill anything in the game. So the actual damage of whatever Purify Weird Souls you're doing doesn't actually matter, as long as they have hits, and Alias has no hits on it. It has like 1 or 2. If I made that tier list for casual play, like if you just wanted a really, really strong team that was just good throughout all the game, for casual or for challenges, for anything, it doesn't matter, it's just always good. You play Mestina, Leyland, Arngrim, which is also the speedrun team. Unless you want to use 3 mages. The speedrun team is 3 mages. But the thing about speedrunning is that we skip all the enemies and we just go straight towards the bosses. So Len of 3 mages is sort of like a boss killing team. It kills bosses. But if you wanted to fight mobs, just like regular people, then you would just run off the tier list. Mestina's in her own tier because she's the best character in the game. For the main story. It's no Seraphic Gate, none of that. And then Spears suck in the main story. That's why Lawfer is so low. And yeah, if you just use Mestina, Lenneth, Arngrim, and Leyland, it's just a solid top tier team. You can deal with anything that's there. The only one problem with that team is that Leyland is a little bit squishy, but you should just be killing things in one turn anyway, most likely. All the supers chain into each other, all the supers do really good damage. You give Mestina a ton of space. You play Guts auto item, it's insane. There's a lot of people that think Lawfer is top tier, but the problem I have with it is... See, I don't know if I'd put mages that high. I put casters there because I didn't feel like it would be fair to put him in with other people. Like, for example, I think Leyland Arngrim is better than... So I have my tier list is Mestina, and then there's Gondar. So if you have Mestina, Gondar, Lysaria, and Lorenta, Then it would be S tier, so Leyland, Angrim, and Lucio. And then mages, the rest of the mages, and then everything else. Okay, let's take a look. So Casual Bad Ratch at low, Sphere, Sue, Janice, Leyland. This guy doesn't understand. He puts Leyland at mid tier. Jolanda's better than Shield because Jolanda's dark resist is higher. I think Shield is 0. It's 0 to 25% dark resist, and Jolanda is 50%. So she's better at surviving. The damage is like whatever. Jolanda's more of like a support. I don't think Shio, Jolanda, and Nanami are not really good main mages. They're very good support mages because they live, and they have. I just put them in terms of survivability. Honestly, you have your top 3 mages, and then they incidentally also have. Yume has like nothing. I think she's 0 dark resist. Yume Valkyrie Profile. Let's take a look. Yume has 50% dark resist, but she has her resistances are fine. Her poison resist really sucks. So if you're fighting hamsters, I think she's just dead. But again, it's for main, so your poison resist sucks and your fire resistance sucks. But she has 50% dark and 100% ice and 50% lightning, which is fine. Yume's, you can play any of the mages. All of them are completely viable. And they'll do the damage, but they're not insane. A lot of them skill off their staff, so if you can just get an Ether Scepter or a Unicorn Horn on them, it doesn't really matter who you're playing. But if you wanted to play a team where it's like, okay, for sure I'm going to one-shot whatever I'm hitting, then you want to play Lorenta or Mestina or Gondar. And then Lysaria's... Did I put Lysaria... Oh. Did I put Lysaria above? I might have done it because her resistances are a little bit better. No, Lysaria is right underneath Lorenta. I think the resistances are the same-ish. I think Lysaria was worse in one spot. So I was like, okay. I think resistances are really important because they're not taking any physical damage. So the only thing they die from is spells. And you want to have your mage up all the time because if they die at a turn they could have been casting and the Guts doesn't proc, or you're not using Guts, then it's really, really bad. Because they're just wasting a whole turn of spells. And if you're not running auto item, then you have to manually use an item to waste another character's turn. So the longer... Yume is like totally playable. If you want to play Yume, you definitely play Yume. Casters are insane in this game. She's good. She's like an A tier character. I don't know if you saw the tier list there, but essentially there's a link, a Twitter link there. So it's Mestina, and then I have Casters, then I have S tier. But if I was to separate them, I just didn't want to separate casters into the tiers. But if I was to separate them, I would put Gondar, Lorenta, Shio under S+. Then you have your S tier characters, Angrim, Lucio, and then the rest of the casters go in A tier with Lenneth and Leyland. But it would be a weird tier list if I put them all together. As for the one you linked, let me take a look at it again. So this person put Leyland as mid. I don't think what they understand is that Leyland's Aiming Wisp, his first attack, is considered magical. And because it is a magical attack, it's unblockable and undodgeable, which means you can always start your combos. So let's say you use Mestina to use a Reduce card or to use like Might Reinforce. Okay, so now you can't open up the person. It's a chance. Okay, I reduced their guard, but now they can still block. I Might Reinforce, but they can still block. With Leyland, they cannot block. You use Aiming Wisp as your first hit, and everyone else just goes in. The reason Mestina's A tiers or S tier is because she's a Mestina tier. It's not even S tier. It's like above everyone. The best character, easy. Sorry. The reason she's S tier is because her stats are insane. She has really good resists, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check for you. So she has 100 dark, and then she has like 50% everything else, pretty much. Like 0 to holy, but holy doesn't matter. 100 dark resist, 50 ice, 50 lightning, and then 25 poison and fire. Her resistances are so spread, whereas a lot of other characters, it's like 50 dark resist, and then it's like 25 ice, 25 lightning. It's like, okay, well, it's kind of underwhelming. On top of that, she comes with really good moves already. She comes with Sap Guard, which is super good. And then she comes with Mystic Cross, which is great. And her stats are really good. I don't know, I ran her through Seraphic Gate, which was great. Anyway, Leyland's definitely a top tier character. He put Jail as mid, which is fine. Janice is mid, which is fine. Sewell there as well. He put Arngrim at high. I just think Arngrim's Purify Weird Soul damage and his combo his moves are so easy to combo with, and they do so much damage, and he's a heavy user, and he's really tanky, and his Purify Weird Soul does so much damage, and he's great. And he can use Grom, he can use two-handers, and he can use one-handers. Think about that. This character is so godlike. He can wield Grom, which is a one-hander, and he can wield two-handers, and he has high health, and he does high damage, and his super is insane, and none of his combos drop. They're all just like attacks. He does a horizontal swipe, and he does a vertical swipe, and then he just hits you, and then it also hits like 80 times. So if you have 15, you ever notice when sometimes you're doing your combo and you go into your supers, and most of the time your first super is like an 80, but sometimes you get it and it's weird and it starts at 60, and then your next super is at 40, and then it messes up your whole chain. Arngrim doesn't care about that. He can start at 20 and he can get to 100. It's insane how good that super is. Character's like god tier. So good. There probably should be an Arngrim tier, but that's fine. Lucian at high. I think Lucian is really good because he does a lot of damage with his lightning, and it's scaled off his weapon attack, I'm pretty sure. So it's like 80 hits or whatever. It hits you, it does like 40 on its own, like 40 of your combo gem or a combo meter. It builds so fast. So if you mess up a combo, it's great. If you're fighting hamsters, great in juggles. Lucian's attacks are pretty versatile because he has one that pulls them up, or he's really good at Leneth, I guess, specifically, because Leneth has two launchers, and Lucian pulls him back down, so lets everyone else combo off of it, and he combos in I don't know, it's insane. He's such a good character. I can see him at high, but I think he's the top tier. Alia's pretty bad. Her moveset is really whack. Her spear throw is awful. It's really weird to combo. It pushes them back. It's not a good opener. I don't know, it's just like her Purify Weird Soul is kind of garbage. I don't know why you would think she's good. People put Belinus at high because his Purify Weird Soul damage is high. I think if you play in a way where you're not running good teams, you know what it is? I think Alia and Belinus and Lawfer and Jail are these really good characters if you're running a bad team. You know what I mean? If you're running a team that's already like pretty garbage, and then you're like, I want to make it good, these are good characters that they don't support other characters. They don't synergize with your team at all. They're really good, standalone, just like machines. So yeah, if the rest of your team doesn't do anything, and then you just put it in Lawfer, and then you're like, damn, Lawfer's godlike. Like, look at this damage. He's doing so much damage. Look at this super. But he doesn't like synergize with your team. He has a pull. That's great, I guess. But the pull just does a billion damage. And most of the time it just messes up everything else. So I don't know. If you put Leneth as your best character, I think that's just fanboying a little. I was thinking about doing that. I'm like, is Leneth really the best character? She's not. Her stats are good. I think you just play her so much, and you adapt your strategy so much around her because you're forced to use her, that people just put her up there. She's fine. But if I could take Leneth out of my team, and I could run 4 mages, you bet I'm doing that. Like, guaranteed. Leneth is not better than mages. I would run 4 mages over Leneth. I would run 3 mages and Arngrim. I think 3 mages, Arngrim is like this weird team where you have your mages to do all the magic and to do all the damage, and you have Arngrim to self-sustain and tank up all this damage, and he doesn't need the mages. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think then Arngrim is again also the same thing where he doesn't offer anything to your team, and he's sort of this just self-sustaining machine. But I think he does it way better than Lawfer and way better than Lucian and everyone else. That's why he's like really up there for me. And his damage is so much higher, and weapon versatility, and I don't know. So Arngrim's great. And then I don't really have anything to say with Seraphigate. It looks about right. Freya's up there, Brahms is up there. He put Leyland at bottom, which I guess that's fine because the other characters are so good. And he forgot Gray and Jun. Jun, top of mid. Gray, bottom of low? Ooh, I don't know about that. I don't... I'd rather run Gray than Casual. At least with Casual, you don't... At least with Gray, you don't have to work the combo that hard. You just do it. Sorry. We got our character. Let's put her in. Oh, by the way, thank you for the follow, Nox. I did see that. I was just answering questions and running. I don't like using him, but here he is. Is this Spear Throw number 2? I don't like that. Actually, let's see what else we can make, because we could probably make better weapons than whatever we're using. Okay, so we need a two-handed sword. They're striking for... What's his third hit? It's the 2 swipes. Yeah. I'll try it. Or maybe it's the dive? I don't know. Let's find out. There are... Yeah, so the reason that Leyland is really good is because he has an attack called Aiming Wisp, and the attack is magical and unblockable. So it's unblockable and unavoidable. So what happens is, turn 1, your mage does Might Reinforce, typically, or Reduce Guard, or Magic Reinforce, or what is it even called? Might Reinforce, whatever. Anyway, exactly, it's like the Mage Bird attack, but on a regular attack. And your mage does whatever to support, or here's another one. The boss casts Spell Reflect. Okay, turn 1, you're in City of the Pan. The boss goes Reflect Sorcery. Okay, so you can't start with Mistina, because it'll reflect the thing. However, the way Reflect Sorcery works is that if you were to use the magic attack mid-combo, you can still hit them. Just you cannot start with it, because Reflect Sorcery is not active when you're hitting it. So what you do is you use Leyland to open up, because you can't open up with your other 2, with Lenneth or with Arngrim, because if he blocks, you just wasted your whole turn, you literally can't do anything. Leyland attacks first. Unblockable, can't do anything about it. Hit Mystic Cross, hit everyone else to follow up on the combo, do the combo, Mystic Cross combos, do Leyland super, do Arngrim super, do Mistina, boss is dead. It's literally that easy. That's how the fight goes. He's versatile, and he lets your mage... It doesn't... Because when we're fighting a Monty, or whatever the Pharaoh is in Tomb of Amonti, turn 1 is Might Reinforce, and then you want to just get in some damage. So you need to use Leyland to make it unblockable. You could just risk it all for the biscuit, and use someone else, but I'd rather just have the guaranteed damage. And in a speedrun, he's really good too, because you have Dragon Slayer and you have Beast Slayer, and you have all these Slayers that you need, because you're level 1 half the time. So you need Leyland to set up this unblockable situation for you. Because if the boss blocks, your Dragon Slayer runs over. Like, your team is dead. Anyway, pretty good character.